And I want to get right to NBC's Hans Nichols at the White House, Garrett Haake on Capitol Hill. So, Hans, a lot of news and a lot of action being happening this morning. We knew the defense for the president was going to be led by Pat Cipollone, the White House counsel, and Jay Sekulow, a longtime prominent defender of President Trump's and his personal attorney. I can tell you, and you know this, we also know now that two people who were part of the independent counsel team that led to President Bill Clinton's impeachment will also be a part of this defense team. We're talking about Robert Ray, Starr. Alan Dershowitz, I am told by this source, is also expected to be a part of the president's team. I'm told he is likely to make the constitutional argument, if you will. This is something that Dershowitz has a long history, long expertise in. He does come, frankly, with some potentially controversial baggage, but I have been told now for days that the president believes that Dershowitz is a strong defender of his. He likes how Dershowitz has been defending him on television. The president just this morning retweeted one of Dershowitz's defenses of his. We also know that Rudy Giuliani, as we have been reporting for the last several days, is not expected to take a formal role. Jim Jordan and Congressman Ratcliffe are not on the team as of now, but things are still fluid. So I think that brings our viewers up to speed on what we know. Hans, give us some of the context on who these people are and why this is significant.
It's significant because these are big legal names. These are headline names. Ken Starr, of course, is going to be very controversial, as will Alan Dershowitz. And what we're seeing is a president that's willing to look beyond the controversy to what he thinks are the benefits that they can provide in a forum like a Senate trial. So you look at the legal team here at the White House: Pat Cipollone, Mike Papura, Pat Philbin, not household names, but serious litigators with not a lot of television experience. Ken Starr has a lot of television experience. Alan Dershowitz from the O.J. Simpson trial has a lot of television experience. This is the public face of a team that now has inside players and outside players, and it's clear that the president wanted to go big on this. Now, what's also clear, if Rudy is indeed not on this list in some sort of final way, and you and I both heard one word over and over this morning in the White House, and that is fluid. This situation is very fluid. How they roll these out, how they actually introduce these litigators to the American public is going to be part of the White House's strategy. All that is still being played out. But the president does want to have a very robust public defense in the well of the Senate, and names like that guarantee it. Now, there's also going to be some controversy attached, right? Alan Dershowitz did not come out of the O.J. Simpson trial without controversy. We have Ken Starr, of course, very controversial for his role in the Starr report that ultimately led to the impeachment of President Bill Clinton. But also, he was chancellor at Baylor University. He ended up leaving there after an issue with the football team and sexual misconduct. So there's controversy attached to both of these names. We'll see to what extent the White House rolls it out and how they explain that. And importantly, we're going to hear from the president twice today, potentially, once when he meets with those football players, right? We'll see if he says anything there. But on departure, we'll have a chance to ask him what he expects of each individual litigator. Hallie?
And you are talking about the president set to leave the White House around 2:30 this afternoon. He's heading down to Palm Beach, to Mar-a-Lago for the weekend, as he often does. And I'm told that as you talk, Hans, about strategy and the roles that these lawyers will play, that Starr and Ray in particular will likely take a role trying to talk about the threshold argument, right? Making the case, as we have heard the case made, that you and I both heard the case made by senior administration officials, that this impeachment, in their view, is basically weak sauce. That's not a quote. That's my interpretation of it. But that this just doesn't meet the standards for what an impeachment should be.
And it's similar to what we heard from Jonathan Turley, right? Turley was the one Republican witness that they called when they talked about the constitutional argument. It's the idea that what the president is being alleged of doesn't meet the threshold for high crimes and misdemeanors. So there'll be an argument on the facts. There'll be an argument on the legality and what the legal elements that you'd need to satisfy for impeachment, at least according to the White House. And then there's this broader constitutional argument about separations of powers, about Article 2 powers, Article 1 powers. And that's really where you have Dershowitz weigh in on the broader constitutional framework. I think it is significant if the House allies of the president aren't formally part of the team. That, in a lot of ways, Hallie, is an indication that Mitch McConnell won the day on that argument, and that he wants this to be, he wants this to be on the Senate's terms and not have the House cloud any of it. Hallie?
thank you for checking out our YouTube channel. Why don't you subscribe? It's really easy. Just click on that button down there. And for more news from MSNBC, click on any of these videos here for the latest interviews and highlights. You can get more videos from MSNBC with our newsletters. Head over to msnbc.com/newsletters to sign up.